Fun fact, right? Energon like even flows through like Cybertronian bodies like blood. I'm sure you've seen this in the games as well. Like maybe it's a clip on screen. Like when you're injured, Transformers may bleed like glowing Energon, right? Like, and then after death, they remain, like, the remaining Energon in their body, like, slowly decays, right? It's not like they basically, like, slowly bleed out, right? Like, so you can see, like, when you heal with, like, Autobot medics, like, Ratchet, right? He can examine a fallen, like, comrade, right? Fading Energon's signature, and then he can, like, examine that to determine the time of death, right? Basically a bit of, like, NCIS Cybertron at this point. It's basically, like, a reminder that Energon isn't just an external fuel source, but it's, like, immediately tied to their biology. Again, it's basically like it's like food, electricity, it's like their DNA structure, like it's just all like encompassed in one. Okay, so like with that, right, let's move on to like its mystical origins, right? So like Primus, the Allspark, Unicron's blood, etc., right? So Energon's story begins in like basically myth, right? At the very creation of Cybertronian life, like according to the Covenant of Primus, the ancient Cybertronian holy text, in where the god creator Primus formed the first Transformers, right? The 13 Primes. He filled their bodies with life-giving Energon. In a blinding burst of golden light, Energon fills our bodies with life and power, right? Primus's work is done. That's end quote. It basically recounts the Covenant, right? In other words, basically, true Energon is essentially an emanation of like Primus's own essence, right? It's basically him himself. It's like it's his life force in essence, right? Like the divine spark of life made liquid, as a quote per se. So this sacred view of Energon explains why it's so like miraculous in terms of like the things, and like obviously more on that soon, like in terms of what it can do, but and why Cybertronians consider it almost sacred, right? Because obviously think of it as like your god's life force. Of course they're going to be like, you know, they're going to respect it, they're going to like, understandable, right? So, but if Primus's lifeblood, right, became pure Energon, well, his dark twin Unicron left behind a twisted counterpart. This is Dark Energon. So, in mythic times, Primus, otherwise known as Cybertron, battled the Chaos Bringer Unicron. When Unicron was defeated and expelled from Cybertron, traces of his dark essence remained. The sparks of Unicron that drifted through space and coalesced into like an unholy substance, right? So the Covenant and other ancient texts warn that for every force there is an opposite. So regular Energon is life-giving, so the opposite, Dark Energon, corrupts and defiles life.